Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be exploring Magical, a text expander and autofill tool that is an extension to save you many hours of work. In this specific video we're going to be looking at the variable function. Magical in general helps me save many hours a week in typing and copy and pasting, especially magical variables. I can save even more time by using data from other apps and using it in my text without even visiting that tab and copy and pasting the data. Now before we go into the tutorial, I'd like to explain where I would be using this and what it would look like to actually use these variables. Now my use case would be me copy and pasting associate information to create tickets to support my company, and that would include the user login information, the name, the employee ID, etc. Now I do this on multiple times a day, so copy and pasting this information takes quite a lot of time. Now to show you what it looks like, here is an associate's information, and this is where I'd be creating my ticket. And all I have to do is do /test, for example, and that way I can import the data from the other tab without having to copy and paste this information and have a message ready for me straight away to use. This saves me many hours of work and it's very efficient. I would highly recommend this tool for someone that is grabbing information from another tab. This doesn't necessarily have to be someone's profile, it can be absolutely any kind of information. So let's go ahead and look at how to do this. So let's take, for example, a profile that we have of an associate at the workplace. Now, due to confidential reasons, I have blurred out some of the information, hence what you see on screen. Now, let's say we're going to be using the associate's information, such as their login, their first name and second name, in multiple occasions, and we're going to be referring to this person on a daily basis. Now, instead of copy and pasting the person's information multiple times, we can set up a variable through Magical's extension. So as you can see, I've already installed the Magical extension. When you do click on it, it will show a small window on the side which says shortcuts, transfers and variables. Today's focus is going to be variables, so let's open that up and you'll see there's no variable set up as of now. You can use this tool and set up variables in absolutely any website that is online and has elements. Now to set up, it's very straightforward. All you need to do is add variables and highlight the variable that you would like to select within your message. Now, as you can see, as I'm hovering above, you can see these blue boxes that appear. Now, let's take, for example, we are interested in the name. So what we do is we click on the name and another pop-up will show, which says label this variable. Now, in our case, we're going to be naming it as first name and second name. So let's type that in. As you can see, it has popped up on the side. Now, the name is taken as first name and second name, so we need to split this variable. Now, this might happen on many occasions, depending on how your website is set up. In order to split this variable, you can click on the three dots on the side and split variable. This will open up a pop-up and ask you whether you want the left information or the right information. In this case, since the first name is what we want, we're going to click left. Once again, it will ask us to label it. We'll name it first name and we'll delete the first label after. So once that's done, we would also like to extract the last name. So we're going to do the same exercise, but this time on the right, and label that as last name. Since we no longer need the parent variable, we can rename that to just name, or you can delete it if you like. Now let's move on to another variable. Now I'm going to skip the shortcut for now. We're going to get back to that later in the video. So let's add all the variables first. Let's go for the login now. So that's also something that's very common that we use on a daily basis. So again, just set that up. Once again, we're going to need to split the variable. Nice and easy. What we could do is click on the right one and label that as login. This time, since we do not require the parent one, we can just delete that. And the final one we're going to be looking at is employee ID. Let's do the same exercise and we are now done. Unfortunately, you cannot split a variable twice. So in this case, we're going to be left with that extra ID, which does happen quite often. However, what we can do is we can compensate it when we are setting up the shortcuts, which I'll show later in the video as well. Okay, so now we've added all our labels and gathered our variables, we can now start creating the shortcut. The first box is to do with the trigger. Now this is what will trigger the shortcut. So in this case, we're just going to name it test. You can name it whatever you like, and I personally like to add in a backslash at the start to avoid it having to expand when I'm writing my text normally. Underneath we have the description, so what we can write in is a short message. Let's say if we're doing it for a ticket: hi team, can you please, whatever your request is. And then we're going to type in our format. So we're going to write down first name and then the variable first name, which I selected from the bottom. Then look at last name, and sometimes it's not going to be in the main filter area, but you can just search for last name and you can put that in as well. And finally, as we discussed, now we're going to move on to login. Once again, search it up, and finally employee ID. For now, I'm going to keep it as employee ID. What I will then show you guys is how to edit your shortcuts and where to find them. So for now, we're just going to hold on to employee ID, and we can write on kind regards for a final message. Now, for demonstration purposes, I have created a dummy trouble ticket text box, and what we're going to do is we're going to do backslash test, and as you can see, a pop-up shows with first name, last name, login, employee ID. Now since this is the first time you're setting up this tool, you're going to do backslash backslash, and that will show another window. And since we're assigning those variables from the website, you will have to do this only once. So as you can see, we have the URL, but what we're going to do is click on show all variables, and then you'll see the website and obviously the first name, ID, last name, login, and full name. Now we want the first name and first name, obviously the last name and last name, login for login, and finally employee ID for employee ID. Now you don't need to do this multiple times. It's only the first time you assign it. The next time it's going to be much quicker. Although this does take some time to set up overall, you'll be saving a lot of time on the long run. Now just to show you it works, we'll do backslash test once again, and this time we're not going to input the variables, it will automatically fill it out. So you do backslash backslash again, click the web URL, do not click the first name, just click on the web URL of the tab, and that way it will automatically fill in the rest of the information for you. Now to test whether this works on another profile, I have another tab over here which has another profile of another associate. Now let's test that out. In order for this tool to work, you must have the tab open. This will not work from a database. It doesn't pull it from an existing database, it just pulls it from another tab that is currently open on your browser. If you then go to close that tab and open another one of another profile, it'll pick that up automatically. So you don't have to set this up multiple times, and it doesn't pull it from a database, so you can manipulate it according to your needs. And it doesn't store any data, and it's not going to slow down your browser. So let's test out the new associate. We'll do backslash test, and as you can see, it pops up, and that new tab is now available. Now if you have multiple tabs of the same thing, you will notice that the first name will be showing up underneath it, and you can select the correct tab. So we're going to do it for the new associate, and as you can see, it filled out everything. I didn't need to set it up again, and this way you'll save a lot more time, and you can manipulate it however you want. You can set up in an email, you can set up as a ticket form, and you can absolutely explore anything you want. Now going back to what I was referring to earlier on in this video is how to edit your shortcuts and access all your variables. What you can do is click on the extension tool, and once again the pop-up will show on the right hand side, and you can click on Workspace, and that will take you to the website. This will have all your shortcuts, all your variables, and all the presets that already come when you sign up with your account. So as you can see, the one that I created, backslash test, is already there. You can change it however you want. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to remove that ID to prevent it from happening again. Now to show you how quickly that adjustment is made, we'll go back to our dummy, and we're going to do backslash test. Now this time I'm going to do it for the first associate that we looked at. Let's try that one out, and as you can see, it filled it out no problem with the new change that we had. Very quick, very easy to do, and this will save you a lot more time in the long run. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below, and I'll try and get back to you. Thanks for watching.